Remember back in 2015 when Microsoft made a promise? They said Windows 10 would be the last version of Windows you'd ever need. Well, for tens of millions of people, that promise is about to be broken, and it's putting their perfectly good computers on a collision course with obsolescence. So let's start right there with that original promise. There's one statement, it set a huge expectation. It created this sense of stability that your computer would be supported for over a decade. But, as we're about to see, the game plan has totally changed. I mean, just look at these numbers. It's been 4 years since Windows 11 came out, and still, about half of all Windows computers in the entire world are running Windows 10. That is a massive number of people, and every single one of them is now staring down a very real, very firm deadline. Okay, this is the date you really need to circle on your calendar, October 14th, 2025. This is the day Microsoft officially pulls the plug. After this, millions of computers that work perfectly fine today will be considered obsolete, leaving them wide open to new viruses, malware, you name it. So you might be thinking, why don't people just upgrade? And that's the key. This isn't just about people not wanting to. For a huge chunk of them, it's not even an option. It's like Microsoft has built this digital wall to keep older but still very capable computers out. And here are the bricks in that wall. These are the two big gatekeepers. First, your computer's brain, the CPU, has to be from around 2018 or newer. That alone cuts off a ton of PCs. And then there's this other, more technical thing called a TPM. So what on earth is a TPM? Well, it's a little security chip that helps protect your data. And that sounds great, right? But here's the catch. Microsoft is demanding version 2.0 of that chip. It's a really specific and honestly aggressive choice that makes millions of older devices that have an earlier version of the chip completely incompatible, just like that. And this slide, this right here, it tells you everything you need to know. When Windows 10 came out, it was designed to run on PCs that were up to 10 years old. The whole idea was to get everyone on board. But Windows 11? Totally different story. It was built for hardware that was at most 3 years old. This wasn't about upgrading old PCs, it was about selling new ones. Which leads us to the big question, right? If these millions of older computers have enough power to run the software, and people have already proved they can by working around these blocks, why is Microsoft trying so hard to stop them? What's the real reason? So let's pull back the curtain a little bit. The official reason you'll hear is always security. But when you look closer, the evidence really points to a huge shift in how Microsoft does business. It really seems to be a three-part plan. First, force people to buy new computers. Kind of like the Apple model. Second, pull everyone deeper into the Microsoft ecosystem with things like mandatory accounts and cloud services. And third, find new ways to make money from you directly inside Windows, like, say, putting ads right in your start menu. And this whole aggressive new approach, it's already led to some major fumbles that have really hurt people's trust. Take the first version of their recall feature. The idea was to screenshot everything you did, but it had a gigantic security flaw. The data wasn't encrypted. It was basically a gold mine just sitting there for hackers. But if you want the real smoking gun, here it is. Business customers, the big companies that buy thousands of licenses, they get a totally different deal. The enterprise versions of Windows 10 are getting security updates all the way to 2032. This proves it's completely possible to support these machines for longer. Microsoft is just choosing not to, for regular people like us. Okay, so that cutoff date is coming up fast. The upgrade path is blocked for many. What can you actually do if your computer is one of the millions being left in the dust? What are your real choices here? So you've basically got three main paths you can take, plus a kind of paid alternative. And each one has some serious pros and cons, so it's really important to know what you're getting yourself into. All right, let's break them down. The first option is the one Microsoft wants you to pick. Just buy a brand new computer. The second option is to do nothing. Just stick with what you have and accept the risks. And the third is the big one. Ditch Windows altogether and try something new. And this table really lays it all out. Buying a new PC means you're secure, but it costs money and creates electronic waste. Sticking with Windows 10 is free, which is great, but it's a huge gamble with your security. And switching to something like Linux is also free and it's secure, but you've got a bit of a learning curve and some of your favorite apps might not work. But then there's that fourth option. If you really want to keep your old computer and stay secure on Windows 10, Microsoft will let you, if you pay them. They are literally turning basic security into a subscription service. You can pay for extended security updates if you can't or just don't want to upgrade. And that really brings us to the final, most important question here. When you look at the arbitrary hardware rules, the fact that big businesses get a different set of rules, and now this new option to pay for security, you have to ask yourself, is your perfectly good computer truly obsolete, or is it just being forced into an early retirement?
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell to the later update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end and see you in the next video.